Okay, let's talk through all these golf events that you have coming up.
Gabby, I'm glad you asked. Got my calendar right here. July 17th at Red Run, and then July 31st, I have the American Golf outing for the Cancer Society.
I also have the American Cancer Society golf outing on the 31st, and also I got yours on the 18th, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Whoa, boys, these are a lot of events and golf outings.
Well, you want me to miss my own golf tournament?
Gabby, they're all great colors.
I mean, this is...
Hold on. I got this. Guys, I got this. Don't worry about it. Hold on a second.
He always...
Hey guys, thanks for coming so fast. How are ya?
Remember the guys from Randy Wise, right? Sir. The Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
Watch for the eye.
Stay tuned.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports, and some, well, not so much. Brought to you in part by Premier Security Solutions, Fairway Packing Company, and Swiss Insurance. Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
Hey, let's go. Tuesday show, June 20th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Brandon, how you doing, sir? It's been
Doing
haven't
great,
seen you
man.
since Friday, man.
Oh, man. And that was a hell of an experience on Friday,
That
too.
was a lot of fun, man. Shout out to those guys over at Fairway Packing, Grosse Point, man. They sourced, they packed it, they aged it to perfection.
No doubt about it. And you are perfect, my friend. You have a good weekend?
I'm far from perfect. You know what? It was a chill weekend. I was a little bit under the weather, but nice and chill. I got to hang out with both fathers on Father's Day. I didn't do too much. Stayed in Friday, Saturday. Making sure I wasn't sick on Sunday. Sunday just chill, man. Me and Pops got out a little bit, went over there. They barbecued in Northville, hung out, got to see Berkeley, train some kids in the garage. Phone went out on me Sunday.
Oh, man. That's, you know what?
Phone went out on me Sunday, so I didn't have my phone.
That's always good, I think. It's a blessing and a curse.
It ended up being good, because Sunday it went out. I tried it again in the afternoon. It wouldn't work. So I said, hey, what the heck? So I stopped looking. And then Monday, I just didn't turn it back on. I didn't even try to see if it worked on Monday. So those people I missed your call on Monday, my apologies. I turned it on and it worked on Sunday.
The great Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you. Good to see you back in the chair today.
Hey, fellas. Welcome in. Happy Father's Day to all you guys. If I missed you guys over the weekend, and I had a great time visiting my folks and my rest of all my family back in Jersey. That's where I've been the last few days. My nieces graduated, and they are going to University of Pittsburgh coming up in the fall. So we had a great time, great party by my sister Jen, and I spent Father's Day with my dad, Sammy Maz, first time in 30 years.
Wow, 30 years. Why has it been so long, man?
I've been here for 30 years, and I don't get to go back usually in June. I usually go back in August at Christmas time, and I got to pick my spots, man. I'm not don't get all those vacation days.
Now, I've seen pictures of Sammy Maz.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's 75 years old.
Yeah, he's going to be 96 in September.
It's incredible, man.
Still gets around like 70? A champ.
He looks like he's 70 and he's 96.
He'll be 96 in September.
That's good, man. Bless Sammy, man. Bless Sammy Maz in the family.
Thank you. I'm
Did
lucky.
you go to Holston's?
We didn't make it to Holston's. I did go to a diner, made a couple pizza joints, and the party kind of like interrupted the whole Holston scene. And Father's Day, of course. So, you got to pick and choose, man.
Bray, have you ever been to this Holston's where Maz talks about? Because that's where, if you watch The Sopranos, that's where Tony Soprano was eating in the booth when Meadow walks in, and Maz says he sits in Tony Soprano's booth each and every time he's in Jersey, but that is clearly a lie because this time he was in Jersey and he did not go to Holston. So right out of the gate, he's lying to us.
This guy lied to us right out the gate, man.
Oh,
What happened? You go back to New Jersey and you turn into a liar now?
That's not very nice.
It's a joke.
It's not very nice, Ryan.
I do know what it is, though. It is the scene from the series finale in Sopranos that they're sitting down in infamous fade to black and everybody's like, what the hell happened? But I've never been there. I've seen it on pictures. I wonder, was the food good or is it somewhere they
Food's
just said
great. The ice cream is even better. And the atmosphere is second to none.
Before I die, one of my life's goals, this is a bucket list thing for me. I want to go to Jersey with Maz. And then obviously
you gotta have Maz take you to the spots he used to run though, man. He used to manage a couple clubs back in the day.
What I want to do is I want to go to Jersey with Maz, and then I want to go to New York with Braylon, because this guy used to be the king of New York, or at least the prince of New York, because it's Derek Jeter's town now.
100%. I was going to correct you. I was going to correct. And the year I got there, they won the World Series, so it still definitely was DJ's town.
I'm actually so mad at myself that I didn't go see the Lions and Jets in New York with you last year.
I offered.
I know.
I offered. But
you barely go to home games.
That might change now, though. He's a season ticket holder.
I am a season ticket holder.
That's right.
But you know what? It's crazy. It happened for the New York Jets when I was there at the perfect time. Maz knows this. We talk about it. It was 2009 I get to New York. I've been a long time New York fan as a city, but 2009, the Yankees win it, but everybody else sucked. Like the Knicks, they had Carmelo. I think they were about to get Carmelo. They weren't ever going to get to the promised land. The Devils stunk. The Rangers stunk. You know, you go down the list, the Nets stunk. We were good. Like, we had 2 really good years at the perfect time where the Giants were horrible. They didn't even do playoffs the 2 years I was in New York, so it was a perfect time. And Jets got a lot of love. Nick Mangold, I mean, he's the guy that kind of ran the city. Brickenshaw, Ferguson. You see what Damian Woody was able to politic his time in New York, too, with ESPN. Good friend Damian Woody. So it was a great time to be alive as a Jets fan those years.
Maz, before we get into the show, did you go to the track, and were you successful?
Of course. Dad and I went on Friday night, just the two of us. Everyone else was doing their own thing. We hit a couple of races, but we wound up not winning for the evening. But I had Dad outside, took him down to the rail, watched the horses live down on the rail. Then we went inside, got a good seat on the finish line. And I did all the running for the bets, told Dad, chill out, I'll handle it. And we had a great time, man. Great time.
Dude, I'll tell you, there's just nothing better than that.
Thanks,
there's
man.
Nothing better.
I had a great time.
I took Dad down to the rail, and I ran the
Had a
bets.
good time, man.
That's so good.
Just got in a little
All
bit.
the girls were talking to him, too. They love Sammy Maz.
Oh, man.
Everyone's coming, oh, he's so cute. Oh,
Now,
my
does he
God.
get to the
man.
track at 96 years old without you ever?
Not really. Only when I come.
All right.
My brother-in-laws don't step up for me.
Oh, very good,
I'm
man.
staying out of that.
Hey, subscribe to...
That's a Mazawey thing.
Right.
That's right.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Woodward Sports on YouTube. Over 44,000 subscribers on that platform. Hit the like button for us, too. Let's see if we can break the 50 like plateau by the end of the segment. If you cannot watch live, download the podcast. Leave a 5-star review available anywhere you listen to your podcast. Guys, I want to do a quick audible on the rundown here and just mention to you the Detroit Tigers. Last night's win, I was not watching the game, but I was keeping tabs on the score. My daughter had a swim meet, and I look, and it's 4-1 Royals, and I'm like, oh, man, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then I check back again, it's 4-3. And then I check back again, and Carpenter hits the 3-run homer to make it 6-4. This team is 9 games under 500. They are 4 games out of first place.
Yep.
3 games out of first place if you just go by the loss column. And as bad as they are, I cannot help but be excited about this baseball team. And tomorrow, if they lose to the Royals, I might come out here and tell you that they suck and I'm done and they roped me in, but now I'm out. But for what it's worth, this baseball team is in a chase here. They're in a race in mid-June, about to get to July, and the Tigers are right there.
Haven't paying attention to the Tigers over the weekend, but I can tell you just from what you said, we're not worried about where they are in terms of the 500 marker. Yes, we would like them to be 500. We would like them to be over 500. But that's kind of the subsidiary thing. The one that really matters is the race and the division. And right now, as you say, in the division, you look at the loss columns, they're only 3 back, and they're only 4.5 back, period. So it doesn't matter for right now. Look, we're a bad division. We're a bad team. It's a bunch of bad teams in our division as well. Our job is right now to be competitive against the Sox, be competitive against the Minnesota Twins, be competitive against the Guardians, and have some fun against the Brewers as well, and the Royals. So they're doing what they're supposed to be doing to keep our interest. Right now, it's all about the interest.
Braylon, all you have to do is be the best of the worst teams in the league. and you are in the postseason. And for a city that has not had anything to hang their hat on other than 8 wins in 10 games of a regular season for the Detroit Lions, which unfortunately doesn't get to carry over into the 2023 season.
This is true.
There's not a whole lot to hang your hat on. Right now, Maz, you go down there a lot. You can kind of hang your hat on the fact that these guys are hanging around.
Oh, they're competitive. I paid attention throughout the weekend, even back home in Jersey. I know the Mets and the Yankees scuffled. They struggled this past weekend. Max Scherzer looked good last night. Mets finally got a win. Yankees, they're just struggling. They can't get healthy. Without Aaron Judge, they're not a very good team. And hopefully he'll be back soon. He's got that toe injury. But these Tigers, man, what did I tell you about them? They're a scrappy, fun team. They're crap, but there are crap. And I kind of like them. I'm with you. I've been telling you that from the get-go. There's something about this team that's keeping me very interested. And I think they're going to hang in there. They'll stay within 6-7 games of the lead right up to the All-Star break. And that's all you could ask for when you got a bunch of guys that really don't have much business playing Major League Baseball, most of these guys.
You're 100% right about Aaron Judge, and we talked about it last year. That was a deciding factor for me to be okay with Shohei Ohtani not winning the MVP last year, is because if you take Aaron Judge off that team last year, they don't get to the playoffs. What he did at the end of the season last year was a tremendous run. But getting back to the Tigers, if they were managed somehow, just indulge me for a minute, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Indulge me for a minute. Somehow you have a major league situation where they end up winning their division and get to the playoffs. So what if they get blown out in the first round? It doesn't matter. You know what does matter? Now you have free agency coming up. Now you have Scott Harris have a chance at his first real free agency as the Detroit Tigers president and GM. Now what is he going to do? Now what's he going to be allowed to do? People look at that team. They look at the Tigers. With A.J. Hinch coaching as he has, this is a spot that could be a spot you want to come to as a free agent. You look at what they've done. You look at how loyal they are. They do have money to spend. They get to the playoffs. You can see some free agents coming into Detroit.
No doubt Miguel Cabrera's contract comes off the books next year, Braylon, and I think you are right. If the Tigers do stay competitive in this race, that is going to accelerate the timeline from the fans and the fans' expectation. If you're 3 games out of first place, or hell, even in first place in September, the mindset from fans to go for it next year as well is going to be elevated. Do you mind if I put the number to the people?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to see and just get a sense if you guys are on board with this baseball team, if you are paying attention at all to this baseball team. The phone number is 313-552-6322. Are you buying the Detroit Tigers as a legitimate contender in the AL Central Division? I'm not saying they're going to win the American League. I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series. But in the American League Central, just to be the best of the worst teams in the league, can they do that, and are you buying? 313-552-6322. Also, we'll take a look at the chat as well, get your take on those Detroit Tigers. But first, a message from Dispo.
Join us. That's right. Join us this Friday, actually. Family is included. It's going to be a family fun environment live at Dispo's Hazel Park location, one of their 9 locations in the state of Michigan. Join us the 23rd, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. We will be there. There will be some treats. There will be some excitement. It's Hazel Park. They're building up. It should be a fun event. But it's also Dispo, the #1 dispensary in the state. Could be the country. They're my favorite place to go. Should be your favorite place to go too. Come check us out. It's Ermanni, it's Edwards, it's Maz at Dispo this Friday.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. How would you like to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Go to woodwardsports.com for all the latest news, articles, updates, show clips, and merchandise. R.J. Graham says, I've been watching every game when Al Avila got fired. The new GM brought in some talent, and we are so close to win the division. Keep up the winning Tigers. And Braylon, if you just look at the schedule here,
let's take a look, man.
They got 3 versus Kansas City, 19-52. They've already won 1. Yeah. Then they play 3 at home against Minnesota, a team that's under 500 now, and a team that they just beat 3 out of 4 at Minnesota. Then they do play 4 at Texas. That is going to be difficult. Texas, one of the best teams in the league. And then you go 3 at Colorado, 16 games under 500 they are. Yep. And the Oakland A's, 19-55, the Oakland A's. So you have an opportunity. I peg the next 16 games. If they can go 11-5 in the next 16 games, that is my magic number to kind of stay in this thing through July 4th here. 16 games, and they're already 1-0. They're already 1-0 in my 16-game kind of bracket. I'm pegging them to go 11-5 in that time.
11-5. How's the pitching and how's the batting going right now? Because one of the things I noticed before Riley Green went down, and then a little bit after they hit a little stride, the bats got good. They were able to score some points. They were able to put points on the board. That's what's going to help them. And also the pitching was able to start to help them keep points, keep runs off the board. If they're doing anything like that, if they're being able to continue to score runs, you said you looked, it was 3-1. Then you look, or it was 4-1. You look back, it was 4-3. And you look back, the game was over, and they had won 6-4. They can play sturdy, resilient baseball, just gritty baseball. Mm-hmm. Just getting out there and just getting runs when they count. Just playing that gritty style of baseball to do anything that it needs to be to win games. You never know.
Python Knife says, generally speaking, I do not watch the Tigers. 2 reasons for it, though. Number 1, I work 90% of their games, so no time. 2, I struggle to watch MLB games in general. I'd likely just have it on as background, and I think a lot of people will have it on as background noise. Parker says, how's your wife and my kids? That's a line from Major League for you young ones out 100%. There that don't know it. Hoof-Hearted says the Tigers aren't winning, they're just losing less. Huge difference. Well, when you play teams like the Kansas City Royals, who are now 19-53, it is hard not to lose less.
They beat the team in front of them. Yep. They beat the Twins. They beat them.
100%. You got to beat the people put in front of you. I mean, you look at Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. They weren't anything to write home about. In fact, they were 8-9, but they won the division. Keyword: they won the division, which means they got a chance to make it to the playoffs. That's all we're talking about here. Beat the teams in front of you, which are in your division, which is the worst division in Major League Baseball right now. Beat those teams to get to the postseason, much like Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
Maz, when this team lost Riley Green, that offense went into a tailspin.
Sure did.
And 1-9 they were
bounced
before
back.
they've kind of bounced back a little bit here, winning 4 of the last 5 games.
It ain't easy playing with guys that really aren't. Not all of these guys have got major league talent. Yeah. And they put the team together. They play together. They play hard. They play pretty good defense. They steal more bases than they used to steal. He's improved this team. He traded your best arm in the bullpen to get some everyday players like Nick Maton, who's starting to play better now. A couple of other guys that they put in the lineup, Matt Vierling. They're coming back. Alex Lang, they gave him a chance to be a closer. He's done more better than he's done worse.
So I have pegged the Detroit Tigers. I think 84 wins could win the division.
Okay.
84. And the reason why I say 84 is because that's the amount of wins the St. Louis Cardinals had in 2006 when they barely won the NL Central, made the playoffs as the worst team in the playoffs that year, ultimately went on to win the World Series. For the Tigers to win 84 games, they have to go 53-38.
They're gonna win. They could win 82 and win that division.
Okay, 82. So
the Mets won with 82 wins in 1973 and went to the World Series.
Okay, so can they go 51-40 in their next 91 games?
Who did they lose to? The Yankees?
They lost to the A's.
Oh, the A's.
51 and 40. Play 11 games.
That's tough.
Over 500.
They're 9 under 500 right now.
Well, as I mentioned, this next 16 games is a block where you could kind of gain there, because in the next 16 games, if they hit my number of 11 and 5, they pick up 6 games right there.
I love that.
They pick up 6 games right there. So then you really only have to pick up another 5 games the rest of the way.
So win now.
Yeah.
You should go. You know what you should do? AJ Hinch should bring you in.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. Scott Harris should bring you in to give this spiel to AJ Hinch and the guys, man. Maybe we can make it like Major League. We get a little strip.
Right.
You know, we get the strip off the manager.
82 wins.
There you
we'll
go.
Get the job done. Every
There you
time
go.
we win, we peel a section.
Give him the heater again.
Right, give him the heater. But you talk about some of the guys. Look, I don't think, now he was 0 for 4 last night, but I don't think there's any mistaking either that this team started to heat up as Spencer Torkelson began to heat up too.
Huh? Yeah.
0 for 4 last night, but nonetheless, that's something you want to see. And I mentioned this yesterday. You guys weren't here. Jim Leland said that he believes Spencer Torkelson can be a star, and I think he is proving that he looks like he can be a star. I'm not going to superstar status, but he looks like somebody that can be a key cog in a championship team.
I mean, we lived in the era of strikeouts or home runs. We don't live in the era anymore where guys are hitting doubles, guys are trying to hit triples. I mean, there's a couple guys in the league that still fit in that old school MLB. Guys are hitting the long ball or guys are striking out. So last year when he's striking out a lot, one of the things that Scott Harris did is he went out and got batting coaches. He went out and got more people that you can elevate his game, etc., or teach him, get him going in the right direction, make him feel comfortable in the plate, make him choose the right pitches, swinging at a lot of bad pitches. This year, he's been a much better hitter for the Detroit Tigers. He's gotten the bat on the ball a lot more. He's gotten some home runs. He's taken them out. Hell, he and Miggy had a back-to-back home run type situation 2 weeks ago. So I think he's playing much better in that fourth spot, much better as a power hitter. It's the MLB nowadays, man. They're going to strikeouts, home runs. He's starting to go in the era of hitting more balls and eventually more home runs.
And you're going to get healthy here, Tom.
Yeah.
You've got Eduardo Rodriguez coming back.
Yep.
You've got Tarek Skubal coming back. You've got Matt Manning coming back on the mound. Now, Kerry Carpenter just got back, and look what he did last night.
Carpenter
He looks like the real deal.
He looks like a ball player. And you know what? He's come through so many times this year. All he's got to do is stay on the freaking field, man. Stay healthy, guys. Keep this team together. Just pitch your ass off. Keep these guys in the game. If you can get to the late innings and you're in this game, you got a good chance to win it. They got a really good bullpen. And A.J. Hinch is a master at motivating these guys and keeping this bullpen going. They don't have a lot of talent, but here they are, 4 games out of first place.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, this year, it seems like, remember the first year, Ryan and mine, we love to talk about that first year in 2021 where you see them make that surge at the end. They didn't make the playoffs, but they finished so strong. That seemed like the team that A.J. Hinch finally got to. A.J. Hinch finally started to get into their ears. They started listening to A.J. Hinch, and they got better. Last year, a lot of injuries and good ball at the wrong time. Pitchers pitching well, batters hitting horrible. Batters hitting well, pitchers pitching horrible. That was last season. This season, it seems like injuries, but it seems like the guys are listening to A.J. much like they did at the end of that 2021 run, and they played really well for him. Could I be wrong about that? Does A.J. seem to now have the pulse, the ears of that locker room?
Well, there's no doubt. And you look, some of the guys that are getting it done, you know, if Riley Green can stay healthy, and that looks like a big if now. I don't think you know, that looks like a big if. Spencer Torkelson is playing well. Kerry Carpenter looks like a piece of this future. Jake Rogers, now I know he's 28 years old. He's not like some 22-year-old kid, but he is performing pretty darn good.
He's the only piece you have left for the Verlander.
I understand that now he's betting under the Mendoza line, but every time I look up, the dude is having some sort of big hit.
Yeah.
Yesterday had another big hit. He's got 9 home runs. You know, so
how many does Torque have this year?
I think Torque has 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I think he has 8 or 9, something along those lines.
Most in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, basically all I'm trying to tell you guys is I'm here for it. I am here for it. RJ Graham says Carpet, Vierling both look like ball players. It's great that they're the new GM, are finding these good players.
Everyday players. That's what he went out after. I mean, we did not have a lot of everyday players last year. Now he's got all these guys that play all these different positions because that's what he's got. He's got no choice. He doesn't have a lot of capital to go out and get and make big trades. But you know what? If they're within 4 games at the deadline, I think he gets a bat. I think he goes out and gets a bat.
Well, we'll see where they are. Deadline, of course, August 1st. August 1st or August 31st? Did they move that back?
They pushed it back. It used to be in July.
Yeah.
But now I think it's early August.
Yeah.
I'll have to get you the date.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tom Mazawey. Guys, tomorrow is going to be big news as well in Lions Land. We'll tell you why coming up. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. Oh, boy, for over 60 years, Braylon. And you understand why they've been in business for over 60 years. Fairway Packing has been providing Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. But you can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. You can order them online, too. They ship anywhere next day. FairwayPacking.com. FairwayPacking.com. Source, cut, age, packed to perfection.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Woodward Sports Network, WoodwardSports.com. Thanks to everybody who is watching on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit that like button as well. Let's see if we can get to over 75 likes by the end of this segment. Troy Weaver is speaking to the media down at the practice facility ahead of Thursday's NBA draft. We'll get some thoughts on him. We'll try to track some of those comments down, and we'll give our thoughts coming up in just a little bit, Bray. But first, I wanted to get this message finally. And I mentioned this yesterday on the show.
Okay.
Talked about it yesterday, and when I got home, it's almost like they knew it's almost like they were listening to the show.
Okay.
I asked Sean Belige, and I said, I thought the Lions were supposed to put out an alternate helmet pretty soon. And boom, they tweeted it out yesterday, June 21st, alt helmet.
First day of summer, officially.
How about
the
that?
summer solstice?
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to it. Does anybody have any ideas on what they think the alt helmet will be? Because I think the all-white helmet on top of those all-white uniforms that they are on the road with. The Bengals did the all-white last year. I thought those looked really cool. I believe it's going to be.
What color is that car?
It's blue.
That's the color.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly where I was. See, me and Matt, we stay on the same way.
Know it.
I saw the blue.
Right.
You're going to get a silver lion.
Oh, but hold
You're
on.
right.
Hold on. You may not be right. Ryan Ermanni, what color is the license plate that says alternate helmet?
Maybe
it's white.
A white lion then. A white lion.
The license plate is white.
Helmet.
No, blue helmet, white lion.
It could be inverse.
What's that?
It could be inverse.
Inverse. I see
So
what you're
like
saying.
maybe like a white helmet with like a blue helmet with white stripes and a white lion.
Oh
with
man,
maybe some
you got
like cool
me thinking
like
now.
motor cool racing stripes and stuff.
They got a stripe on it too. I mean, it's so many. You see the stripe too?
Is there any chance? Is there any chance that they go back to the old Bubbles the Lion?
No, there's no chance. There's no chance.
That just represents too much losing.
You can't go from shirts that says villain to back to Bubbles the Lion. I think the Lions are heading in a direction that is kind of distancing themselves from losing, as well as Bubbles the Lion.
Does the font have anything to do? You see the font June 21st? Give a full screen of that so people can see it a little bit better.
I'm thinking that. I'm thinking it's something to do with the license plate, man. It's all white. There are no all white license plates in this state.
Booner says there is some chrome on that car.
Well, that's because it's an old school Mustang. It's an old school Mustang. It's gonna be chrome.
Broder also chrome.
Chrome.
Oh man. Either way,
but you can't show a Mustang without chrome, man.
I don't know. I'm excited about the jersey change next year. We'll see what happens. And when do they break it out? Do they break it out on opening night, Thursday?
I bet you they do.
They absolutely do. Season opener.
What are you waiting for?
What are you saving it for?
You don't want to talk about all the time. Why not now?
Right.
Why not now?
The Chiefs are going to be in red.
Yeah.
So the Lions could be in all white.
I'm telling you.
Oh,
Pay
man.
attention to the license plate. It's
I don't
all
even know,
white.
I don't even know why.
And it says alternate helmet on it.
Yeah. I don't even know why I get so excited about this stuff.
Why not?
What?
Yeah.
It makes you a kid again, man. I've been drawing I've been drawing logos my entire life. I still draw logos.
You can draw?
I still draw logos.
I can draw 2 weeks.
I can never get the lion one right. The lion one is a very hard logo.
Can you draw off memory or can you draw off sight?
No, memory.
You can. See, I can't. I'm not a memory drawer. I can draw anything I look at. I can pretty much do a good job.
No, I got everything. I got everything right up here.
Okay.
One of the funny things about this is I'm more of a traditionalist when it comes to
everything.
Everything. Not everything. Not everything.
This is true.
Most things.
This is true.
But if the University of Michigan ever had I was so remember when they played Notre Dame and they had those awful jerseys?
Of course.
I was so mad. I was like, this is so dumb. Dumbest thing I've ever seen. But the Lions, because I feel like Michigan's helmets, Michigan's uniforms are already perfect, number one. But two, that to me represents winning.
Speaking of Michigan, shout out to Lamar Woodley, who's going in the Michigan State Hall of Fame, or the state of Michigan.
Okay.
Let me say it the
Michigan
right way.
Michigan Sports Hall of Fame.
He's going in along with Rip Hamilton, Zetterberg. I got the list. I'll be on there soon.
Yeah.
I was laughing. I was like, he slept on my couch. How you get him before me? But Henrik Zetterberg, I want to say Rip Hamilton, Lamar are the key headliners. So shout out to Lamar Woodley.
Yeah,
University of
absolutely.
Michigan,
That's awesome. That is absolutely great. Shout out to the great.
But you mentioned those uniforms. I was in the league, man. Can you imagine watching those games on TV with cats in the NFL? They're like, man, what the hell are y'all wearing out there? I was like, I don't know.
But the Lions, that uniform has represented losing, and that's why I want them to change it so bad. But now that they're going to be winning, we at least hope they are going to be winning. We'll see what happens with it. The NFL Network guys, Good Morning Football, put their tiers together. Look at where they have the Detroit Lions in relation to the NFC. Are you ready? In Tier 1, if you're doing audio only, I'll read it for you. In Tier 1, the big dogs, the Philadelphia Eagles and San Francisco 49ers. In Tier 2, the Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings, New York Giants, and Seattle Seahawks. The Lions are in Tier 3. That is characterized as the to be determined, with the Saints and the Rams. That's who they're lumped in with. And then tier number 4, Commanders, Packers, Bears, Bucks, Panthers, and Falcons. Braylon, I come to you on this.
You missed one. You see the one way at the bottom with the star next to it?
Cardinals.
Cardinals. They're way out of their own.
I feel like the Bucks should be there too.
You know what's crazy? So now when you just read it from 1-2, now when I'm looking at Eagles, 49ers, boom, then I jump over here, next tier. I see Cowboys, I'm okay with that. I see Vikings, I'm okay with that. Seahawks, what they did last, I'm okay with that. Giants, I don't like that team, but I understand what they did. Then I see the next team, I say, okay, Lions in tier 3. I kind of understand that from the sense of Cowboys make the playoffs almost every year for the most part. The Vikings made the playoffs the last couple years. They 13-4 last year. Seahawks made the playoffs last year, got better in this offseason. Giants got better this offseason. Don't know what they're going to look like, but they did get better. Lions got to be in there with them. Because it's a quick start where it's like I'm used to seeing the Lions 3, so it's easy to say, all right, cool, yeah, the third spot. Lions got to be where the Giants and the Seahawks are. Even though the Seahawks made the playoffs last year, technically the Lions were this close. Lions and Seahawks got about the same in this offseason. Both of them got really good. The Giants, I don't think the Giants got as good as those two teams. They're hovering. If you want to call it hovering, this isn't the whole NFL. This is the NFC.
Right.
The Lions are damn sure hovering at number 2 on this list. So if you want to say it's because they haven't done it, and until you see it, you don't believe it, that's fine. But the Lions are damn sure number 2 on this, at least on this list.
And that's where I am, too, with the Lions. Look, I fully expect them to win the NFC North Championship. I don't know how many more times I'll say that over the next 5 months, but they're going to win the NFC North Championship despite some wild, terrible thing that happens, like an injury or something. I don't even want to say it. That's how good I think they are. But until they do it, I'm fine with it. They haven't made the playoffs. They haven't done it yet. I'm fine with that. The exception I take with this list is not the Seahawks, but I do take exception with the Vikings.
Right.
You want to put the Cowboys in there. You want to put the Giants in there. That's fine. I think the Giants take a step back this year, to be honest with you.
They will.
But I just don't know how you lose 7 starters in one offseason. You don't get better at any of those positions. At least I don't think you do. And somehow you're above the Lions in the division.
Well, last year they won the division. Last year their quarterback threw for more yards than our quarterback did. Last year they had a better star than we had, Justin Jefferson. And last year they won more games than we did, 13-4. The year before that, I want to say they won 9 games. The year before that, they won 11 games. The year before that, so it's more reputation than anything, and it's them not believing in the Lions fully. But just like you said, it's cool because the Lions will show them. But that's all it is. It's them not believing in the Lions fully and seeing the Vikings did go 13-4 last year, and they do still have arguably the best playmaker in the NFL. Those are only 2 things I believe they're looking at.
Oh, yeah. They definitely put the Lions in the 3 spot there because they haven't won yet. And they got to put the Vikings there, right? Although I understand what you're saying. You lose 7 starters. It looks like they're organically tanking. It truly does. But they are hovering because they won 13 games last year. So if they win 10 this year, that still puts them in the hovering category. That's why. That's all. But the Lions will be neck and neck with them, no question about it.
Not to mention the other thing is, Ryan, everybody has the Detroit Lions being America's darling. Not America's team, but America's darling. Whether it's Fox, whether it's ESPN, it's damn sure Woodward Sports Network. Somebody's got to be the eyeball.
I was just thinking
Somebody's got to be the pick. You say, you know what, let's just in case the Lions aren't like that, they're not heme, as you say, let's pull them 3. So if they're not, knock on wood again, we can be the ones that come out and say, hey, remember, NFL Network, Good Morning Football, we said that the Detroit Lions had not done it. So I think it's one of those situations. We just want to be the ones that cover our ass. If we're wrong, who cares? It's the Lions.
Usually we'd be in the 4 spot.
Right.
Right? Without a question.
Maybe even the 5th.
Right. We're moving
We'll be
up.
down there with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
We're moving on up.
Who do you think has a bigger opportunity? Take the Lions out of it in this hovering category here, where you have the Cowboys, Vikings, Seahawks, and Giants. If you had to put money on one team to say, I think this team is going to be really good this year, this team has a chance to be really good this year and win a division championship, who out of Group 2 can win the division championship? Who is most likely to do it?
I don't want to be that guy, and I think Matt is probably going to pick the same team I'm going to pick. You hate to pick them. You hate to pick them. You hate to pick them. It's Cowboys. Like, it's Cowboys. As much as I want to say,
got it.
I know my brother. As much as I want to say Seattle, I don't trust Geno Smith. Like, I don't trust what he did last year. Just like the Lions, I got to see it again. With Dak Prescott, I know what Dak Prescott's going to do. He's going to have enough yards. He's going to win you enough games. He's going to get you to the playoffs, and then he's going to get into the playoffs, and then he's going to turn into Dak Prescott. But what I'm interested about is now Mike McCarthy is his guy. Now Mike McCarthy is calling the plays for Dak Prescott. I'm interested to see how he can be without. Not to mention, they brought in Stephon Gilmore at cornerback. You brought in Brandon Cooks at wide receiver. They snuck and did some things under the radar in free agency.
And they drafted well.
Speak of the devil, they drafted out of Michigan.
Mazawey.
They drafted Mazawey out of Michigan. They drafted tight end out of Michigan as well. Loveland.
Yes.
Just in the chat, Anthony Patterson
Absolutely.
says Seahawks. El Gato says Seattle, and they're going to the Super Bowl. Dan Wood says the Seahawks. Booner Show says Cowboys. Michael Terry, Seahawks.
The one thing I will give all the people that's picking the Seahawks, and they're very right about that. They got that running back backfield. They have a two-horse backfield, and not to make it, they pitch out in Jackson Smith and Jigba in the playoffs. I mean,
they got great weapons.
And what it also tells me is that people are not sold on the 49ers over here. And just they have probably one of the most complete teams in the NFL, but they don't have a quarterback, or at least they don't have a proven quarterback. And Maz, I know you're talking to me about Sam Darnold, and he's going to be comeback player of the year. I know George Kittle is talking to me, or Christian McCaffrey is saying Trey Lance is that guy. He's going to be
George
great.
Kittle said Brock Purdy.
Said that.
He said Brock Purdy.
And that's fine. Again, I guess I would have to say I want to see it to believe it. I would agree the Cowboys, though, if I had to pick my team, I would say the Cowboys just based on history. Because it's been a decade since there's been a repeat winner in the NFC East.
Yeah.
And I just, purely based on that alone, I would say the Cowboys.
One thing about the Seahawks that I watched last year is when Kenneth Walker III, and granted, he ran the ball extremely well. He looked like the K9 from East Lansing when he ran last year. But when he kind of went down and started limping, started getting gimpy a little bit before the playoff, Geno Smith turned into the Geno Smith that we know from the Jets, that we know from the Giants, that we know from the Chargers. So that's the big hang-up for me and the Seahawks. On paper and what they did, they got talent out of this world. They were really good last year. They're going to be a damn good team. Shout out to Pete Carroll and Brian Schneider for how they drafted. But it's Geno Smith. He looked like his old self when the K9 went out. So that's why I have a little nervousness.
Is there any expectation of Matthew Stafford in the LA Rams this year?
I think so. A lot of people, it's like an under the radar expectations, but you still talking about a guy that won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. You're still talking about one of the best wide receivers in the game. You're talking about arguably the best defensive player in the game, and they picked up some good draft picks as well. Not to mention they picked up your guys boy from Georgia, and Stetson Bennett the fourth in the fourth round, I believe. But they're still the Rams. They got some talent. I think they did well with the offensive line in the offseason and the draft. So we shall see.
Their defense looks like it sucks. So I'm looking at
lost Jalen Ramsey.
Their defense looks like it sucks. I mean, it's got Aaron Donald, so no defense that has Aaron Donald is going to suck. So maybe that's a stronger word. But offensively, man, you've got Matthew Stafford, Cam Akers, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, a good offensive line, and Tyler Higbee at tight end. It's a pretty darn good team offensively.
Is Higbee still with them?
Yeah,
he is.
I thought, he re-signed maybe. And Sean McVay's wife's pregnant.
Is she?
Yep. See, right. Jared Goff got out of town. Sean McVay's wife pregnant.
Look at that.
See?
How about that, Maz? Always coming with the excitement. Very good. We're going to go to the AFC tiers. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Outdoor Equipment Company. Your childhood may be over, but playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company is your source for outdoor power equipment, sales, service, parts, carrying top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more, servicing the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansington. For more information, there's the website right there, OutdoorEquipCo.com, OutdoorEquipCo.com. Outdoor Equipment Company, your power equipment playground.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey, I'm Ryan Ermanni. It is Woodward Sports Network. Having some fun here on a Tuesday afternoon.
I got something for you to watch. I know you guys are always looking for something new to watch. I don't know if you guys are into the little extreme, if you will. You ever watch Black Mirror?
So Mario Liu discussed that
on
Monday, yesterday on the 9 at Fox 2. She said it is just like a crazy, wild show.
But the thing that's so cool about Black Mirror is like it's the world we live in now. Some of it is a little further away, but most of it is as we are now. The stuff is just so like entangling, and it keeps you involved, and everything touches everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all connected. It's good. It's very good.
Maybe I'll have to give it a shot.
The stories take you in a while. When I give you an example,
but they don't connect, right? Each story is an independent story, or
they do not connect. Okay. So season 5 came out, I guess, Monday. Season 5, maybe Monday, maybe last Friday or so. Season 5 came out. It's 5 episodes. They're all good. Season 4 wasn't good at all. It's a season with Miley Cyrus on it. Was bad. Then they made this movie Bandersnatch. Wasn't good at all. But seasons 1 through 3 were amazing. 5, they're back on their game. They're back on their game. I'm trying to give you.
What network?
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. I've watched them all. I'm trying to give you a description of
because
one.
Now's the time that you really want to watch.
There's nothing on TV,
right?
Like as it relates to sports, like this is the perfect time.
And the's that writer's strike too, so like there's not a lot new out there.
The stuff that's coming out next year is gonna be horrible.
Yeah,
is that writer's strike? Damn, what's
wow.
Trying to think of the one I watched. Oh, it's good.
Well, if it comes to you, let us know.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to get to the AFC tiers from Good Morning Football just to speak about it. I think it's pretty fun to talk about. 2 teams in the NFC in the big dog category, 2 teams in the AFC in the big dog category. The Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals are the only 2 in that tier. Number 2, hovering. We've got the Bills, Dolphins, Ravens, Jags, and then the to-be-determined category. The Patriots, the Jets are there, lumped in with the Steelers, Browns, Chargers, and Titans. Shock the world. You've got, in the 4th tier, the Raiders, Broncos, Texans, and Colts. Braylon Edwards, your thoughts?
I figured out what the description I was going to give you. But first, let's talk about this AFC, Ryan Ermanni. Chiefs, Bengals, definitely. I'm trying to think. Are we good with just 2? The Chiefs, the Bengals. No. Yep, they're good with being just the 2 here. Tier 2, Bills, Dolphins, Ravens, Jags.
The Bills feel like they're imploding to me.
Yeah, I would almost switch
Jets and Bills.
I would almost switch Jets and Bills because I have the Bills. I'll tell you about that later, being maybe 3rd in their own division behind the Dolphins and the Jets, or the Jets and the Dolphins, whichever one comes 1 or 2. Because I think those are the 2 that are going to be 1 and 2 in the AFC East. Maybe move the Jets to the Bills. And I was trying to think about the Chargers. I was trying to think that I want to put the Chargers over here in hovering. They got Kellen Moore now.
They still have Brandon Staley. I think he's the worst head coach in the NFL.
But they've also had the worst offensive coordinators the last couple of years for a guy that threw 5.
He's been the offensive coordinator too, I believe. Or at least he calls the
defense.
plays. Brandon Staley?
He's a little bit of both. I'm just saying, Kellen Moore with the last 4 years, Kellen and Dak, they've been the number 1 offense in the NFL. The last 4 years, the Dallas Cowboys have been, as much grief as we give them, they've averaged the number 1 offense in the league the last 4 years.
You know the team I like, Bray.
In that number 3?
In that number 4.
The Broncos.
I do.
But
switch the Broncos and the Patriots.
Yeah, I don't like the Patriots.
Patriots are going the 4 seed, and the Broncos should move over to the 3. With Sean Payton, they've gotten better. The Patriots haven't done anything.
I would add the Jets to the number 2 as well.
I would add Jets. So maybe not switch the Bills and Jets, just add Jets. leave the Bills and give them one last chance. We'll give them the excuse of Brian Daboll becoming the head coach for the New York Giants and maybe some injuries to that offensive line and defensive line.
Here's what I know about the AFC. I don't think it would shock anybody if the Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Dolphins, Ravens, Jaguars, Jets, or
Chargers,
Broncos made it to the Super Bowl. Or Chargers.
It would surprise people.
Okay.
If the Broncos made it, it would surprise people.
Okay. How about Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Dolphins, Ravens, Jaguars, Jets, Chargers?
Yeah. And that's it.
Okay, so that's still 8 teams. What's the last time you said that 8 teams in one conference can win the Super Bowl?
Never. I had to go back. I had to go back to Tommy Mass.
And if you're like me, where you do believe in the Denver Broncos this year, that's a 9th team.
I do believe in the Denver Broncos, but you're talking about them going for how bad they were last year, and understood. Sean Payton's going to come in there. He's going to shore up the offensive line like he already does. Go back to the running game, which is how Drew Brees had a lot of success with the Saints. He's going to do that, but you still got to get the offensive lineman to do it, and you still got to get the talent. That defense, Ryan and Mine, is what you're banking on.
That's exactly what I'm looking at.
That defense is what you're banking on.
That's exactly what I'm looking at in my
I knew where you were
computer
going.
right now.
I knew where you were going.
The Denver Broncos lost a game giving up 17 points. They lost a game giving up 12 points.
Yep.
They lost a game. They lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They lost 6 games giving up less than 19 points.
Yep.
6 games less than 19 points.
You know who else they gave up? They gave up their best defensive player. He no longer plays with them. He's now with the Miami Dolphins last year. So now check those games when he left the team last year and see when they gave up those points. He was a monster. He was a monster. They don't have him this year. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they are without him getting to the quarterback. They were able to get to the quarterback last year, disturb the quarterbacks. That's how they were able to get the ball. And then obviously when you got those safeties back there, you got that DB like Surtain II.
And they actually lost 1 game in overtime, so make it 17 games.
Oh, excuse me.
Or, excuse me, 7 games they lost by giving up less than 19
Bradley
points.
Chubb. His name eluded me for a second.
You got him.
Bradley
though.
Chubb.
Yeah, you got him.
That's
pretty friggin' solid.
AFC is a juggernaut. We've been saying it for the past couple of years. They just keep getting better and better. Little side note on the Jets. Aaron Rodgers. Go back to my New Jersey trip.
Okay.
He bought a house in my sister's neighborhood, 5 houses away from my sister.
Get out
Aaron
of here.
Rodgers is going to move in. It's not official yet, but the word on the street is he bought that house for $11 million.
So you know what my next question is, Ryan. So your sister's loaded.
You're right.
No.
Your sister's loaded.
No, my sister lives not in an $11 million house.
She lives down the street.
Well,
That's
yeah,
what I was
about
thinking.
5-6 houses away. Yeah.
The house I live in is 5-6 houses down is close to what my house is. So that's why I'm like 5 houses
My
down.
sister's house probably worth $1.1 million.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers,
Not 11.
Shout out to sis.
I just sent this to the chat. I don't know how long it would take you to get up, but it's not that big of a deal. But you mentioned Aaron Rodgers. This is a great picture because Aaron Rodgers is working out with Kevin Durant.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
How cool is that? 2 guys that couldn't be more opposite, right? I mean,
Well, both quiet.
They're both a lot alike.
Both quiet guys.
You mean different sport?
Well, different sport, but like
They're both loners.
yeah, exactly. Both loners. Aaron Rodgers is into the voodoo medicine.
They both will get after you on social media
right?
if you talk to them.
That's true. I was just thinking of Kevin Durant, had a teammate that didn't take the Kyrie Irving situation.
Oh, yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers was one of those guys that didn't do that.
I'm immunized.
I'm immunized.
Look
Good
at Parker.
job, Parker Brown. Wow.
I'm
look at
immunized.
you. But I think this is a great picture. Both guys smiling and
You know what you see at the end of the day when you look at this
perfect
picture? Like, regardless of that stuff, what you see, you got a 2-time champ with a 1-time champ. Champs always going to find a way to get together. Like, champs are never turning down workouts together, lunches together, hanging outs together, golf outings, etc. together. You see that picture, you see one of the greatest offensive players, arguably the greatest scorer on the basketball court, and one on the other side is arguably the greatest thrower of the football. Dan Marino is, but they like to say he is. champs gonna stay together.
Look at that picture, man. What?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers looks like a little boy.
You know what I see in that
Like a
picture?
Make-A-Wish kid.
$500 million.
$500 million.
That's what I see in that.
It's more than that.
$500 million at least.
Shooting the last 2 years alone, they've made that. Last 2 years alone.
Oh man, that's so good. It's good to have Aaron Rodgers out of the division this year. That is for sure.
It's also good to have him out of Green Bay. Like, listen, everybody's for a second chance and blah, blah, blah. We also don't know the conditions that go into every situation, what every person deal with. Yes, Aaron Rodgers brought a lot on himself in Green Bay, but now he's out. The cloud is lifted. It's a new day. He's feeling good. He's out and about. I'm telling you, Ryan, there's still a chance Aaron Rodgers might become your favorite person. I'm just saying.
Well, you know,
he's already Maz's favorite person.
Once you get, I don't want to say favorite person, but I do envision a scenario where as the season goes on here and things are close and you're kind of trying to figure out who you want to win, who you want to be in the playoffs. There is a scenario where I could see rooting for Aaron Rodgers to win the division just because I think it could be really good for football, the excitement of the season, to have Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. I think it's great anytime you have a New York team in anything. I think that adds to excitement, intrigue. Hell, you were there.
Start spreading the news.
Right. I mean, I just think that could be so much fun for the NFL season if the Jets were really good. Just conversely, if Russell Wilson in Denver was good last year, I think it could have been really good for the season itself. I do like it when Brady goes to the Bucs and has success. I do like it when Stafford goes to the Rams and has success. I do like it if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets and has success because I think this is kind of like a new model for a lot of teams to win quickly.
Two things. One, but if the Denver Broncos didn't play like they played last year, if Nathaniel Hackett couldn't hack it, pun intended, and Russell wasn't able to have a season like that where he was so bad, you're now questioning, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? You wouldn't have got Sean Payton as your head coach this year.
True.
So last year happening actually was good for this year. But getting back to Aaron, and before we let the segment go, I think he's going to be like I don't want to say like that and piss anybody off. There's a Kobe Bryant fan, rest in peace. But I think he'll be like a Kobe fan, way less championships. Remember how when Kobe was playing, like everybody kind of, people, unless you were LA or you were a kid that was young and kind of in that era of Kobe's your guy. Like Kobe was villainized, especially after one situation. Then everybody chose Shaq over Kobe because we knew Shaq is Shaq. How you not choose Shaq? So it's like he had to go through that. Then he had to go through all the stuff with the Olympics. Then finally start winning again. I wasn't a Kobe fan, literally, until he tore his Achilles on the court that day. He went out there, still shot the 2 free throws, kind of started watching him from there. Then he turned into a great humanitarian. He was a great man. Aaron Rodgers might fall into that category if we keep letting this thing play out.
Hour number 2 of the program coming up next. We'll talk about those Detroit Pistons. It is NBA draft time coming up Thursday night at 8 o'clock. The Pistons have the 5th pick overall. Which direction will they go? What is happening in the NBA as well? Zion Williamson, he seems like he is up for grabs. What about Draymond Green? He declined his option.
$27.5 million.
Bradley Beal has gone to Phoenix. Chris Paul believes that Isaiah Thomas had something to do with his dismissal and his trade there in Phoenix. So a lot to get to. We'll get you the latest on Troy Weaver's comments as well. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC will be broadcasting there live on Thursday for their grand opening. Same great service that customers have come to know. You can come see us. Check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And of course, looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. How How would you like to win not one, but two vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hour number 2 of the program. How's everybody doing today? Ryan, Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We got our good friend Jeremy Bryant, JB. He's wearing his Pistons horse's head hat. JB over there. We've got Parker Brown as well, having some fun here on a Tuesday, fellas. You guys good?
Doing good, man.
All right. Want to get some.
I guess I spoke for them, though. My apologies, fellas.
Want to get some Pistons quotes. One in which this is from Brandon Dent, one of our Woodward Pistons guys. He's on Twitter at Detroit Kool-Aid. Here's a quote from Troy Weaver. Even though we haven't really won any games yet, we sort of like a lot. We sort of like our lot in life. They like where they are, Troy Weaver. I think he's got to say that. I don't like where they are.
He said he loves his roster. That's what he told Monty Williams. He's like, I love this roster that we have. You got a lot. It's like a ball of clay. You get to shape it any way you want going on from here.
You can only shape it if guys can play the game. Like, if guys can play the game, they can get you wins. I know they're young, but you guys got to be willing to take. And that's what Monty Williams' job now is. Hey, look, we understand what was going on with your wife. We understand you didn't want to play. Coach, we understand that you took the job because how could you not? With that being said, Monty, you took that job. You're now the Detroit Pistons coach, and we expect the same things out of you, what you did in Phoenix, how you were able to get those young players to play much better. Cameron Payne, Mikal Bridges, those guys became much better players under the tutelage of Monty Williams and his coaching staff. So I expect to see the same thing here in Detroit. We keep talking about it. I think the Detroit Pistons are going to make a move. I don't think they sit at 5. I don't think you can consistently do the same thing and expect the same result. I don't know how that's going to happen, but they're going to have to make a move. You see what's going on in Phoenix. You see when guys want to go right now, they want to get good now. How willing are you to do something extreme? You already paid the extreme money to get Monty Williams, much like Matt Ishbia made the extreme move of getting KD right away. And then the season's over with. They fire Monty. What does he do? He hires Vogel, and then he goes and gets who we'll talk about coming up. I think Tom Gores, you got to find that move to help Troy Weaver in this draft and this season coming up.
Is part of that move too, Maz? Have we undersold how good Cade Cunningham could be?
Yes, no doubt. Last year they tanked. They could have probably played him the second half of the year. There's no need to. He's going to come back stronger. His body, I don't know how much weight he's put on in muscle, but he looks like a different person. And you guys have said it. Remember how Dwayne Casey took him to the playoff games to let him get a feel of this. They're a together bunch of kids. They are kids. It's a man's game, like we said. They got Bogey. He's basically he's the elder statesman on the team. So going forward, you're going to have to go out and get some more men to put with these guys. I don't think he picks at 5. I don't.
I agree, Maz. I think he's going to move that pick. I don't know what he's going to do, but you hit the nail on the head. You got to bring in some guys. Getting back to Cade and then going to what you said, we saw Cade right during the Christmas party last year. We had the Christmas party in this very studio/compound. He was over there across the street at the Daxton. He said, hey, if I had to, I could play now and I'd be fine. He said, I would be fine. I would be ready to play. This is a conversation he and I had outside. Cade Cunningham is not – he's a player that's young, Ryan. He's not young. Cade Cunningham was a different guy when he got here. He's a little older than he is in terms of his maturity, in terms of his leadership. So that's a good thing for the Detroit Pistons. Your leader is a guy that has that maturity, has that skill set. With that being said, man, you got to get some older guys in here.
Hell yeah.
Like, you got to get some veterans. Like, if you look at teams that win, yes, they have the superstars, the young guys, maybe 1 through 4 of their rosters, but number 5 on the roster, number 6 on the roster, number 7 on the roster, you're going to have some guys. I mean, look at that the Denver Nuggets team. You got some experienced guys on that team. The teams that win, look at the Boston Celtics. They got Marcus Smart. They have Jason Tatum, no longer a young guy. Al Horford, Kevin White. Look at the Miami Heat. You got to have some guys on that team that are year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, year 11. Don't be afraid to have old guys in the locker room because old guys get down. The average age of winning an NBA championship for the stars on that team is 29 and a half years old. You got to have some older guys.
So I want to read something to you guys.
Yeah.
And this was on ESPN.com today, okay? And the title of it is 2023 NBA mock draft, projecting the intel on all of these players. And it's actually a draft projections. Best prospects, most underrated, most overrated. So this is what it says. Victor Wembanyama, okay? Wembanyama is the clear number 1 in this year's draft with a 55% chance to be an all-star caliber player. Okay, you hear that percentage?
Yep,
what I say?
55, not 100.
Okay. He has the 3rd highest odds to be an all-star caliber player, only trailing Zion Williamson's 59% and Cade Cunningham's 58%.
Wow.
So back then, Cade Cunningham was projected to be a better player than Victor Wembanyama. Now I know after so much talk and so much hype, I think even today, if you had an opportunity as a Pistons fan to say you get one guy, Victor Wembanyama or Cade Cunningham, I think a majority of the Pistons fans out there would say Victor Wembanyama. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. And it should be that way.
And I think perhaps Cade Cunningham might ultimately be a better player. Maybe, just maybe.
I hope you're right.
And because we haven't seen him last year, because the first year he played, his rookie year, was a disaster. You saw the flashes in him, but it was a disaster. The team was a mess. All the losing. Nobody cared about him. On the heels of COVID and people are getting back into the NBA arenas and stuff like that.
Just a little pause.
Sure.
It was a disaster. If they're just talking about Cade Cunningham, it was a disaster in the sense it started with injury. He had the ankle injury. I think he missed the first 12 games.
Yep,
definitely
that's right.
started. Yep, definitely started that way.
Totally forgot about that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, you're right too. But then it heated up. At least for Cade Cunningham, not the whole Pistons organization, just Cade. Cade showed you what he could do. Cade started getting points, assists. You saw games where he could play off ball. You saw games where he would take over in the fourth quarter. I think that one game that they came back and beat the Bucks, he had something like 19 in the fourth quarter. He should have been the rookie of the year. He lost to Jalen Green. We get that. It is what it is. But you look at his stat and number output, he was floating around 19, 6, and 5 for his rookie campaign. He ended up having a pretty good rookie year. But the whole team as a whole, it was a disaster.
What did Kevin Durant say about
He said
he loved that team.
He said, I love this game.
Yes.
He says, I love this game.
I remember that.
Chris_313 says, if Karl Anthony Towns became available, would y'all make the move if you had to give up Duren?
Yes, I don't like Karl Anthony Towns, but he's a superstar player. You're talking about a guy that's 7 foot. He can shoot the three-pointer at a 40% clip. He won a three-point shooting contest when he wants to. You saw it game 1 in the play-in tournament. Cat can turn it on. So, yes, I would definitely. I mean, he's a superstar. To get to that next level, you got to have some superstars. And Cat, whether you like him or not, he's soft. Yes, he is. Cat's a superstar-type player in this league.
Do you think James Wiseman takes a big step this year? I do.
I still don't know what James Wiseman is. I think that's the biggest thing for me, man. As I watched him the little bit that he played out in Golden State, they didn't have him play a ton, but when he did play, you saw some athletic ability there. You saw some defense. You saw some defense out of him, able to step in the lane, able to little pick and rolls. But it was slow. It was stagnant. It hasn't gotten better. Then he comes here, a much lesser team than the Golden State team that he played for, and he showed effort, and he's shown energy. But I just haven't seen what he can be. I don't know if he's going to be a Theo Ratliff type individual. I don't know if he's going to develop into an individual with a jump hook game like Cat does in the post. I just don't know what he is.
I just think we're not talking about him enough. I mean, we talk about the big three, the young three guys that we have here, maybe four if you want to bring up who'd we get 3 years ago, first draft for Troy? No, first.
Killian Hayes.
Yeah, Killian Hayes. The jury's still out on him. I just think Wiseman is a wild card that I think he could develop into a star.
He is, and you know what?
A nice bench player at this point.
But DeAndre Ayton did get better. Not this year. This year he looked like the guy that made that dancing video at the NBA premiere. But 2 years ago when they were in the finals, he played much better. And that was, I want to say, Monty's second year with DeAndre Ayton. Maybe he can have that same effect on Wiseman. The problem is nobody's talking about Wiseman.
That's what I mean.
Troy Weaver's not talking about Wiseman.
Yeah.
Monty Williams just got there, so he hasn't even had a chance probably to assess who Wiseman is. Nobody's talking. The players aren't talking. So I don't know. Is he working on his game? Do they like him? Is he a piece that might get moved? We're completely in the dark right now as it relates to James Wiseman.
Let me put the phone number out there again because I'd like to check the pulse of Pistons fans out there. Oh, wait. No, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that.
We just checked their pulse.
We've got an issue. We've got an issue with the phone lines. So I'm not gonna.
You pipe down out there because audio works.
Right? Yeah, audio works, but we do have an issue with the phone lines. We'll get that fixed for tomorrow. But if you want to get in on the chat, I'll try to be as good as I can in the chat. Maybe I'll task Maz for. Maybe I can get you for the chat.
You can task me for
because
that.
I try to carry a conversation here with Braylon, and when I'm looking at the chat, I can get distracted and all these things and all this stuff. So
pay attention.
Yes. So
I got you.
I've got a couple of questions for Pistons fans because I'm genuinely curious to see where they are. Number one, if I could give you. If I could trade Victor Wembanyama for Cade Cunningham, would you do it?
1-to-1?
1-to-1. Like, would you rather have Victor Wembanyama? And it's not going to happen. It's total hypothetical. Just, I want to see your confidence level in Cade Cunningham moving forward.
That's a tough question to ask because, like, right now, Victor Wembanyama is projected to be arguably the greatest NBA player of all time, which I believe, Ryan, we got to stop putting so much pressure on these young kids. They've already put way much pressure on. Like, Victor Wembanyama will never be able to live.
Like Stephen A. Smith said today.
I hope he's a bust.
Like Stephen A. Smith said. No, you don't. You don't want anybody.
Yeah, I do.
You don't want to root against anybody.
Yeah, I want to be a bust.
He's a young guy with a family. Don't do that.
Victor Stephen A. Smith said today. He's like, you know what?
I love man.
Get him here, damn it. Get him here. Let him play against NBA players and let's see how good he is.
That's real.
So
that is real.
He's like, I am not commenting on Victor Wembanyama anymore until I see him against NBA players. Get him here, damn it. So would you rather have Cade or Victor? That's a total hypothetical. The second thing, here's the second part, and then I'm going to take a break and we'll get on the other side. Here's the second part of this. There are players that are available out there. Maybe it's Julius Randle. Maybe it's Zion Williamson.
Ja Morant.
Maybe it's Ja Morant. There are very flawed players in the NBA right now that are up for grabs.
Draymond Green.
Would you rather just to go to battle with your own guys, have Monty Williams coach these guys up, you've got this core nucleus together, and maybe you make a run. Maybe this can be, your core three guys in Duren, in Cade, in Ivy. And you win a championship maybe 6-7 years from now when they're all 28 years old. Or would you rather trade one of these pieces, take a very flawed player, but you can get good quickly? It's almost like a lottery ticket. Would you want Zion Williamson? That's a long question.
There's another player in there, too, you can add.
Okay, we'll get Braylon's player in there, Karl Anthony Towns, perhaps. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, Planet Fitness. Now, we all know Planet Fitness as your judgment-free zone where you can work out for just $10 a month. But as of right now, Planet Fitness is thrilled to allow high schoolers ages 14 through 19 in the U.S. and Canada to work out for free all summer long with the Planet Fitness High School Summer Pass. Teens can register as of right now and officially gain access to the club all the way up until August 31st. But that's not all, because Planet Fitness is giving away over $200,000 to high schools and students. Teens who sign up for the High School Summer Pass can help win a scholarship for their school and also participate in a TikTok video contest for chance to win academic scholarships. Visit the landing page for more information and legal disclosure at pfsummerpasscontest.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
All right, having a little fun. Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. News regarding Shannon Sharp, too, coming at you. We'll get to that in just a second, but I just want to see where Pistons fans are. Would you want to take a flawed player? And I saw one guy in the chat that says the Pistons are not one player away from a championship. Absolutely not. We know that. But we're talking about a team that's going to win 25, 30 games here, guys.
You think?
Yes.
You think that many?
And are you okay with, just letting this thing go and play out and winning your 28 games and make, you know what I mean? It's just like, do you want to spice things up a little bit? Do you want to try to do something so drastic to where you win 38 games? I mean, I think
the big thing is you want to try these things, Ryan and mine. Gotta love Birmingham. You want to try to do these things, but it doesn't happen like that. The best thing I think that in terms of bringing some guys in this year, trying to win games, you know what they should do? Work with what you have right now this year in terms of let me rephrase that. What they're going to do is they're going to see what they have this year. They're going to see who Jalen Duren is. They're going to see who Jaden Ivey is. They're going to see how Cade is coming back from injury last year. And technically this will be his third year as a player. They want to see what those young guys look like. They want to see what Wiseman looks like. We keep asking that question. What's Wiseman? They're going to want to see this 82-game season. Who is James Wiseman? Who is Jalen Duren? Who is Jaden Ivey? Who is Killian Hayes? Who is this young team with the old guy, Bogdanovich? Who is this team? That way, at the halfway point this year, that way at the end point next year, now they know what pieces to get. Now they know what players to go after or what moves to make. Because to be honest, Ryan, they don't know what they have right now. The Pistons players have been very inconsistent, whether it's been coaching or whether it's them being young and dealing with losing at this level. They've been very inconsistent. They haven't shown what they can do. And this team that is the team we believe, these guys ain't even been on the court together. And I use aim for a fact.
Hey, I think Piston fans are going to like the quote from Troy Weaver. I like this. He said, I like the long ball. I'm not trying to slap it into short center. I'm going to take a big swing. I'm going for the big fly. That's what Troy Weaver said today at his press conference, prepping up here for Thursday's draft, which is coming up in Brooklyn. The Pistons, of course, sitting with the number 5 pick right now as we speak.
So it gets to the question, Ryan and Ermanni, what's the big swing? Like, do you package Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren and you send them somewhere for a guy, and then you package James Wise or somebody else for another guy? What's that big move? Like, because I'm trying to figure out how big a move can you make with young guys that are unproven in the NBA.
I do think this is a big year for Troy Weaver, though, too.
Yeah, he'll get fired if this doesn't work.
To make a move here, man, you got to do something. This from Kool-Aid, our guy, Brandon Dent, Woodward Sports, at Detroit Kool-Aid. Talked about the new CBA. Here's the quote. There's some thought there there could be some vulnerable situations we could take advantage of, and we want to be prepared. So are some of those big swings, big flies on some teams, some situations that may have some problems with the new CBA in terms of salary cap and things like that. But again, I look, this, you don't get to just, there are very few people that just get to methodically do this and get methodically better each and every year. I mean, you don't get 5 years anymore. You don't get 6 years. And I know we're not even there. What is this? Year 4 for this will be 2020, 21, 22, 23.
In terms of for
Troy Weaver. Fourth year. You know, you ain't getting a fifth year. You win 25 games next year.
No, not
28 games next year.
Yeah.
You know, anything south of 30, you're out of here, bud. You know, I mean, it's just, I like you. You're a nice guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's some thought, too. And people I talked to said that Troy Weaver wanted to hire Kevin Ollie. That was his guy. Tom Gores said no and went for Monty Williams. So,
because he can control Kevin Ollie. He's not going to be able to control Monty Williams.
Maybe, but so if you believe that line of thinking, there is already a little bit of ownership GM kind of situation to where the GM, I don't know if Monty Williams is Troy Weaver's guy. I mean, he is, but look, when you want to know who's in charge, look at how much money they make. That's the guy in charge.
Monty Williams.
So you got to do something. You're not going to get to just willy-nilly go out there and say, oh, we're going to just let these guys grow. We'll give, Monty Williams or Troy Weaver's job is on the line this year, I think.
Troy Weaver's job is on the line, and that's why he wanted his own guy in there. The good news for Troy Weaver, the good news for Tom Gores, the good news for Monty Williams, those guys are professional and be able to make it work. Troy Weaver and Monty Williams, they'll be able to make it work because Monty Williams, it's not like he's Tom Gores' guy that's coming here and Tom has a relationship and he's picking him for the contract and they're going to talk together and keep Troy Weaver out of the loop. That's not the case. Tom Gores wanted to make a splash. He wanted to get one of the best coach on the market. He wanted to show the city that he was serious. So he went after Monty. That wasn't a slight towards Troy Weaver, whether he believed it or not. Now, you can't tell me Monty Williams is not a guy that wants to win. It's a guy that wants to get the best out of these players, the same as Troy Weaver. I think it may have been a little thing right now. By the time this thing gets rock and rolling, which means Thursday, they'll be on the same page because both of them want to win. Monty wants to prove he's worth the money. That's just how guys are at that level, whether it's the player, whether it's the coach. You want to prove you deserve the purse. So he's going to make sure he proves he deserves that bag. And Troy Weaver's going to make sure he don't get his ass fired. I think it's going to work well together.
Yeah.
I just don't know. How do you take a 17-win team and make them into a 7 or an 8 seed or a play-in team?
He doesn't have.
How do you do it?
He doesn't have to get into the playoffs to not get fired. He just can't win 25 or less games. Like if you're talking about, I believe if he gets to 28 is the magic number. If they get to 28, his job is secure. They'll give him that last year because they're going to need him. Next year will be a big year for the Detroit Pistons. It'll be the biggest year they've had in a very long time. He can get to 28. They keep Troy Weaver, so that's going to be the goal.
This was the year, Braylon, because they put all their eggs in the basket of Victor Wembanyama. They put all their eggs in that basket, and their eggs broke.
This is true, but now they have Monty Williams as a coach. You're talking about a guy that's been to the finals a couple of years ago, a guy that consistently has teams that are floating around 60 wins or more. I mean, it's supposed to have been that year, but hey, it's the NBA. They're not going to give us the number 1 pick overall. We got to start thinking outside the box. We got to start waiting for the Zion Williamson, the Victor Wembanyama. We got to start making do with what we got and going hard in free agency.
Do you want Zion here with the Pistons?
I would.
You don't?
I said I'd take him.
I would take him too. I don't care if he's. I don't care if he's played 50% of his games. I would take him.
And that's the only reason. And that's the only reason why he's being talked about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, this player is so special. He could really change a franchise. Why would somebody be willing to part with a guy like Zion Williamson? Now maybe that relationship, maybe that relationship is over, and maybe it was over before it even started, and that was the NBA's way, wink, wink, of making up for the fact that Anthony Davis was leaving, is to give him Zion Williamson. This is a top 10 player in this league when he's healthy, but that's a big when he's healthy.
It's just true, man. But you're talking about a team, Brian. You got to do something different, man.
Yeah,
this is not bringing in Blake Griffin, who was already towards the end of his career. Not to mention, he wasn't that type of player anyway to begin with. This is bringing in Zion Williamson, a guy. Look at his face. He needs to change the scenery. He needs to get the hell out of New Orleans. He needs to get away from all that crawfish and that boudin. He needs to get up here to Detroit. We'll limit the Coney Island. We'll get his ass in shape, and we'll win some games. Zion Williamson, we talking about.
Guys, there's a lot of NBA to talk about too. There's so much to get to, and I want to do it before the show's over. But there is news about Shannon Sharpe too. Potential landing spot for him. I want to get Braylon's take on that. I do not think it will work. Let me say this. I do not think this move will work for Shannon Sharpe. We'll get Braylon's take. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one but two vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars. One for you, your wife, your buddy, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, whoever you want to give it to. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You could walk in any time. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Our good friend Ken Brown says that Troy Weaver signed a 4-year contract extension last year. To me, that doesn't mean anything.
Do you know how many Mike Tannenbaum signed a extension when I was with the Jets, and he got fired literally right after I left the Jets the year before? It happens all the time in sports. When you're not talking about the player, when you're talking about the executive side, the coaching side, those guys get extensions and get fired all the time, man. That's the nature of the beast.
Yesterday's price ain't
today's price, not by a long shot.
Yeah,
you can't get it done.
And yesterday's direction ain't today's direction either. I mean, last year's direction,
Victor Wembanyama.
Well, no, but when he signed the contract extension last year too, I mean, you're thinking Dwayne Casey's the coach. You've got some young stars now. This organization has completely pivoted to putting all their eggs in the basket of Monty Williams.
Yeah.
Really, and we'll see what happens here.
Not to mention, you look at last year, you're excited. Hey, you got Jaden Ivey. You bring in Kay Cunningham the year before that. We got this Killian Hayes. We still think this thing is going to work. Jalen Duren. You get these moves. You're making these moves, and then Kay Cunningham gets hurt. Then Jaden Ivey doesn't have necessarily the year that you think he's going to have. Then the team doesn't have the year you think he's going to have. All that has effect, and once again, these owners, they got big cheese, man. They can sign those extensions and then pay those guys to fire them.
All right, guys. So breaking news in the media world a little bit. Front Office Sports, which is a business sports platform, FOS on Twitter. They have breaking news that Shannon Sharpe is in early talks with FanDuel to join Kay Adams and Michelle Beadle and kind of replace the Pat McAfee spot. I don't think that works to me. No offense to Kay Adams and Michelle Beadle. Or Shannon Sharpe. I just don't like that trio.
So
for me.
So those three are going to get together and then replace what Pat McAfee show was.
Yeah.
No, they each have their own show. Kay has her own show. Beetle has her own show, and Shannon Sharp has.
Oh, I misunderstood that.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I misunderstood that.
No.
So Shannon has his own show.
Which that
works.
I don't think it does.
Why can Pat McAfee have a show and Shannon can't?
Well, you could have it. But I mean, people have different talents.
First and foremost, why can't Pat McAfee have a show? And what I mean by that is it's a successful show, and Shannon Sharp, you don't believe will be successful. Why not?
I think there are very few people in this business, very few, that could do a one-person show.
Yeah.
And when you do a one-person show, now I don't know what the sidekick situation is.
Now, you could be right, too, Rye. It could be the three of them together. Maybe Kay Adams' show, Up and Adams. Maybe it isn't doing what they thought it was going to do.
Right.
Because she is on FanDuel.
Right.
So is Michelle Beadle. She does her own podcast on that show as well. And then they bring Shannon in. Maybe they put all three together and try to make the big triumvirate.
Very few people. And Pat McAfee didn't do a solo show either.
And that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. But Dan Patrick, Jim Rome,
Colin,
Stephen A. Smith, he does a radio show. He does a radio show where he talks to himself. There are very few people that can. It is extremely hard to do.
But what are we talking about? Because you keep moving the goalposts back. Are we talking about a one-man show, or are we talking about a Pat McAfee style show where he didn't do it by himself? Are we talking about?
Well, I guess we don't know what the show is. We don't know what the show is. So I automatically think you're by yourself, and I mean you are by yourself. And I guess I would go Jim Rome. He's by himself, like legitimately by themselves, and Stephen A. Smith. Those are the only two guys that could sit there and talk to themselves and have success. I couldn't tell you another one.
You don't think Colin is that?
He's got a sidekick.
But really?
Yeah.
You count that guy?
Well,
to Ryan's point, he's always had a guy. Whether it was the girl who got herself in trouble with LeVar Ball and got fired, whether it was Joy Taylor.
Joy Taylor.
Joy Taylor was on there last 2 years, and then now J Mac with the news. He's always had kind of somebody he can
Dan
talk to.
Patrick has his Danettes. Now I could be totally going off the rails here because I hear solo show and I think impossible.
What does it say? What does the read say? I mean, what does the tweet say?
It says Shannon Sharp is in early talks with FanDuel. Sharp could potentially join Kay Adams and Michelle Beadle. Now he's the one that said each has their own show. So that just sounds
like joining the network, not necessarily joining them to do a show. Look, if it's set up like what Pat McAfee is doing, I think Shannon Sharp will have tremendous success. He's got a huge crowd, huge following. Uncle Shay, he has a huge following. I think he can have some success. I don't think it would be as big as the Pat McAfee show. They got a bigger crowd for what Pat McAfee is doing, bigger with the younger crowd, if you will.
He'll have guests on.
But he'll
have guests on.
Shannon, it'll be a fun show. I think it'll be a good show.
And he don't want to sit out. He wants to be on football season.
Yeah, that's what it says. He does not want to sit out football season.
He will not sit out. He will be somewhere.
That's what it says. He does not want to sit out football season. I'm trying to see what. Yeah, it doesn't say much. But join Kay Adams and Michelle Beadle.
You know what would be good for him? Now, what I would watch, I will watch that regardless. Let me start there. But what I would also watch, I would say, how they do the Manning cast. How Stephen A. Smith does it during the NBA playoffs. He does Stephen A.'s couch or whatever it is. I would definitely tune in to watch Shannon Sharp have guests during football season. I think he would be much more entertaining than the Mannings. The Mannings are entertaining because of Eli.
Right.
But you're talking about Shannon Sharp and him having guests.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Prime hasn't done that yet, so that could be his lane. Prime is paying big money, and they haven't done the simulcast, if you will, or the alternate.
They could barely get the freaking. They could barely get the game on.
They've had a year, and their guy's worth $170 billion. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. I just think this job is a hard job. It looks like it's easy, but
which job?
This job.
Oh, okay.
This job is a hard job. I mean, to sit there and be compelling for
2 hours,
3 hours.
They're 2.5 on Undisputed. 2.5, yeah.
They're 2 hours.
It's heavy.
And they're probably really an hour and 20 minutes when you take out the 5 minute commercial breaks.
It's longer than that.
Maybe an hour and a half.
Because The Undisputed goes 2.5. They're 9:30 to 12.
You don't think that's a 2-hour show if you take the commercials out?
Yeah, I mean,
it's
maybe,
still a lot of talk.
Yeah.
I say $1. Yeah, two Ryan's. But I say $1.45 if you're talking an hour.
Now again, now full disclosure, I didn't watch Pat McAfee. I tell you all, he ain't my cup of tea.
I use his. I don't watch the show either.
I don't watch it either.
I just take the clips.
The only time I watched Pat McAfee's show is when Aaron Rodgers was on, because that was really around the vaccine time and who's getting the.
He's the only person that Aaron Rodgers would talk to was Pat McAfee.
Right, because it was unedited. He had a whole hour and all that stuff. But that's the only time I watched that show.
Yeah.
Like his act, I won't watch it on ESPN either. But it's a lot easier to do when you've got, the power of those 4 letters behind you. Now, FanDuel coming strong. Now, I've never seen Michelle Beadle or Kay Adams' show.
That's what I'm saying. If they went all in on Kay Adams for her morning show, I can't see them canceling her show and then putting her with Beadle and Shannon Sharp. I just think they'll add Shannon Sharp to their network, and he'll do a talk show. He'll have guests every day. I mean, people will line up to go on with him. He's a Hall of Fame tight end, and he's fun to listen to.
I do think people are yearning for a avenue outside of the major networks to watch or consume anything. Sports, news, games, font, whatever, entertainment, just an ability to watch outside. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just, if he does team up, I couldn't pick Kay Adams out of a lineup. Michelle Beadle, I know, used to do a little ABC.
You couldn't pick Kay Adams
Michelle
out?
Beadle.
She's one of the...
will go down in history for that. When she was on set during the playoffs, and it was Jalen Rose, when Paul Pierce was talking about he was a better player than Dwayne Wade, and Jalen Rose had the stats, and she was in the background the whole time. Ooh, yeah. 5 is better than 2. Like her ad-libs, and that will go down in history.
Oh my God!
It was the best. That might have got her off the NBA playoffs off ESPN.
Right. She was a ball buster.
But she was great though. Yeah. She was great at it.
She could bust chops.
Unbelievable.
Kay Adams is you don't know she was on Good Morning Football and.
Yeah, I know Kay Adams.
I never watched Good Morning Football because I'm on the air at that time myself.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good for you.
I could name you 50 newscasters though that I can pick up that you don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you guys are talking Japanese right now. Right? It's over here.
Very good. All right, guys. Isaiah Thomas in the news. I want to get your thoughts on what Chris Paul said. And what is the beef? Why does Isaiah Thomas always find himself in some sort of controversy?
He's a scapegoat.
But first,
Zeke is the scapegoat. I'm not buying.
Don't sound like it.
Wise.
All right, guys.
Wise.
You know it. Randy Wise. What's better than watching celebrities like Braylon and D-Mac play golf? I'll tell you, playing golf yourself and being treated like one of those guys, like a celebrity. Stop at any Randy Wise dealership for your chance to play golf like a celebrity. VIP transportation, free golf to one of Michigan's best tracks, and a tasty steak afterwards. Compliments of fairway packing. Make the wise decision. Get to a Randy Wise dealer today for your chance to play like a celebrity.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
How does Isaiah Thomas always find himself in the news?
Because they pick on him, man, because he's small.
So the story is that Chris Paul, CP3, found out he was traded when his son told him. And then Chris Paul says, well, I guess I'm gone. I realized that Matt Ishbia and Isaiah Thomas just wanted to go in a different direction.
What do you mean I'm fired?
So what does Isaiah have to do with that?
Well, I mean, that's the shot, right? I mean, Matt Ishbia said that Isaiah Thomas was not going to be this team's general manager.
Yeah.
He was asked about it, but said potentially he could have a role. The two are tight. And by the way, and I've said this before, if I'm Matt Ishbia's age, if I was Matt Ishbia and a billionaire, the first call I'd make would be to Isaiah Thomas.
Hey, hold on, man. Let me say something to Chris Paul, because I don't have a problem with Chris Paul until he gets mad at my guy, my favorite point guard of all time, to go Isaiah Thomas. I realized that, and Isaiah just wanted to go in a different direction. You know why he wanted to go into a different direction? All right, let's check the stats out.
Ooh, the stats.
Let's check the stats out.
Tell you about some
Let me
stats.
give you the stats.
4 years ago, in the playoffs, Chris Paul. Nobody. Who was that? That was a dynamite drop in. 4 years ago, 21-3, 5.3 assists. 3 years ago, 19.2, 8 assists. 8.6 assists a game in the playoffs. Not bad.
8.6 assists?
In the playoffs, man.
Damn.
This was the year they were in the finals. This is the year. Oh, by the way, what happened in the finals?
If he had 8.7, they might have won.
Hold on. Didn't somebody get hurt? Didn't somebody like they usually do and not play in every game in the playoffs? Didn't somebody else help let another team come back from being down 2-0 in the NBA playoffs? This year in the playoffs, not again. He missed games. He disappeared. He was injured. 12.4 and 7 assists a game. He's gotten worse every year. Let me not say it like that because he is the first ballot Hall of Famer. He's declined every year since he's got there 3 years ago. He's not the guy. If I'm at Ishbia and I'm trying to win now, and I let go of Monty Williams, I bring in my own guy, I'm looking at the old guy on the team, I got to get rid of Chris Paul because he's never there in the finals. He's always injured. Now, he's the older guy. You look at a whole season, 82 games, and then another 25 in the playoffs or so, give or take. Those are a lot of games for guys that are 37, guys that are 36, guys that are 35. He's going to break down. You can't have a guy like that when you're trying to win now. I would much rather have a guy like Bradley Beal. So do I take the $15 million hit for just letting him go, or do I just trade him? They made a much better decision to trade and get Bradley Beal. They have a chance now to win it all.
Does Bradley Beal have anything left?
What do you mean?
He better, dude. He better.
He's only played 11 years.
He's the highest paid player in the NBA.
I know, but so what? They made a mistake.
Who made a mistake?
The Bullets, the Wizards.
You said
when they paid him.
But you got a guy that
has he earned that money?
Yes, the answer is yes. I'm trying to tell you yes. Bradley Beal is a guy that averages around 30 points a game a year, averages around 6 assists, averages around 6 rebounds. He's been averaging that for the past 5 years. He was so good that John Wall, who was their highest paid player, who was injured all the time, they told John Wall, like, we appreciate your services. We'll send you wherever you go, and we'll cover the bill as well. And then they paid Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is a loyal guy. He's a hard-working guy. All his teammates love him. He's a stud. He just hasn't been on a team and hasn't really had a shot. Like, this is going to be a good situation for KD, Bradley Beal, as well as Devin Booker. You got 3 guys on the team, as that average over 45 in terms of field goal percentage. That's rare. 3 guys over 45% field goal percentage. Bradley Beal was 50% field goal percentage last year in 52 games. KD 42, and I think Devin Booker was at 45. So they total around 45.
Why would the Wizards get rid of him?
Because you're doing him a solid. He's been there 11 years. You haven't won anything. He's stayed loyal. He's much like Damian Lillard. He's stayed through. He's played through injury. I mean, he's raised his family there. He's been good in the community. Your plan just isn't to win. So why keep paying that man all that money? Why not start over, much like some franchises do? So that's all it is. It's not necessarily, hey, we're punishing you or we're getting rid of you because we don't believe in you anymore. We're tired of paying you and we stink.
And, dude, he's 29. It's not like he's some 35-year-old player.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's young.
Bradley Beal can fill it up. And you put him with Booker and Durant, there's a real shot there.
JB's shaking his head.
His pause, that's all.
You like it? You got something there, JB?
No, I just thought you should have paused before you finish your sentence, but okay.
Oh, man. Oh, boy, he can fill it up so good.
You're nasty.
Bradley Beal. Oh, my gosh. This guy can score with the best of them, and they will They will be able to field a team around these guys.
Not to mention, too, another move that they're going to make, I believe, DeAndre Ayton has just not been it for the Phoenix Suns. Which they drafted him. They were nervous about him. He's a former #1 pick overall. They stayed the course with him. He got a little bit better. They went on that NBA Finals run. He disappeared for the last 4 games of the Finals. Hasn't been around since. You're talking 2 years later. Don't be shocked if they move DeAndre Ayton and get some pieces. He's still a young guy. He's a 7-footer in this NBA. He's athletic. He can run the floor. Don't be surprised if that's the next piece to fall for the Phoenix Suns, is moving DeAndre Ayton and getting 2-3 pieces for him.
Did you see that Monty Williams didn't like DeAndre Ayton or Jay Crowder?
It makes sense. It makes sense.
They're just difficult players to coach.
They're kids. Well, not Jay Crowder he's got a whole list of other things going on, but DeAndre Ayton is very kid-like, very immature. That's why they kept showing that video of him dancing in the playoffs from his rookie year. He's a very immature guy, no matter how many veterans. You're talking about guys like Chris Paul, who's a veteran, guys like Devin Booker, who's not a veteran. Monty Williams is a veteran coach. They've had some veteran players come in. Nobody can seem to get to DeAndre Ayton. And KD's the next one that's like...
Speaking of not KD, but Draymond Green. I don't know how I got from KD to Draymond Green.
Players on the move.
Yeah, players on the move. Draymond declined his player option. Mike Dunleavy Jr. says they absolutely want Draymond Green back. Steve Kerr said if they lose Draymond Green, they are not capable of winning a championship next season. Pretty powerful stuff. Not a good negotiating tool either.
The punch.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, if you're trying to negotiate with a player, if you say, if we don't have you, we're not going to win the championship.
Oh, yeah. It's like...
it's not a very good negotiating.
It's like the Lions and Chase Keenum.
Exactly.
Or not Chase Keenum,
Case Keenum.
Daniels.
Chase Daniels.
There you go, Chase Daniels.
But no, it feels like, does he want out of Golden State, or is this a sign that he wants Jordan Poole gone? Because they clearly have had chemistry problems this year. They never recovered from that.
I think this is him just wanting more money. Like, I think this is him knowing his worth to that team. Look, you can say what you want to about Draymond. Draymond's never been one of my favorite players. I do respect him because he's from Michigan and Michigan State. Give him a lot of love. Without Draymond Green, they don't win these titles. Like, they do not win these titles. Yeah. Steph Curry, as great of a shooter he is, the best shooter of all time, and all these other things you say about him. Draymond Green is the reason why he's been able to they work together, but Draymond Green is the glue that holds this thing together. He knows his value there. He knows him and Joe Lacob, they're similar people. Joe Lacob, being the owner of the Golden State Warriors, loves Draymond Green. I think you're going to see a situation where he's wanting more money. You're seeing guys getting, 5 years, $275, 6 years, $308 million coming up. Draymond's a guy that he doesn't need that, but Draymond still is a guy that can be paid $30 million a year. When you're looking at what guys get paid, don't worry about the number. Worry about what that number is, what that number comes with. 4 championships, defensive player of the year twice, comes with that. He's still got something in the tank. He's looking for about 31 million a year.
I like this chat from Rod Malone. I don't know how to say it. Chat? Do I say the chat?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Dre will be in Golden State, Los Angeles, or Detroit. Could totally see him go play with LeBron and KD.
As much as he got LeBron's name in his mouth, LeBron this, LeBron that. Definitely, that move is coming at some point.
Did Phoenix, by acquiring Bradley Beal, go back to, because the NBA has gone away from the trio to the duo? We haven't seen a trio in a long time. We've now seen duos like LeBron and AD, Jimmy Butler and.
They lost.
Yeah, they lost. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Go ahead, Parker.
When Giannis won, it was Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
They're still threes. They're still big. Shoot, when Golden State won it last year, not to cut you off, Parker.
You're good.
Andrew Wiggins was the first team. He was the first ballot All-Star. Steph Curry's the first ballot All-Star, and you had Draymond and I can't think of his name because he can't shoot anymore.
Can't shoot.
Klay Thompson.
Oh, Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson. They still have the big three in the NBA.
But I was thinking, is this situation in Phoenix the same situation that KD put himself with the Nets? That you have 3 players right now that are all stars, all ball dominant. You have KD. I mean, I don't know who's really going to be the most ball dominant on the team.
Probably
KD.
all three of those guys play off ball too, though. Like Bradley Beal played the second fiddle to John Wall for the first 7 years of his career. John Wall was a predominant ball handler. He was a starting PG, whereas Bradley was a shooting guard. I mean, you look at Devin Booker. Devin Booker, he plays off of KD, and KD can play off anybody. KD is the most efficient basketball player as it relates to the offensive side that I've ever seen. I will argue this with anybody. All he needs is 11 shots, and he will find you 28 to 30 points. You have that going on, and the field goal efficiency. Those three guys can work. Parker, the interesting thing is going to be who do they get around those three guys.
Yeah.
That's what the interesting part is going to be.
And I think definitely trading Ayton and maybe Crowder.
Ayton's got to go.
Crowder's gone, right?
They both got to go to me.
Guys, we'll be back in just a couple of seconds, but first I'd like to tell you about Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're customized solutions from real experts. 24/7 professional monitoring and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Stay out. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us. Hop on the YouTube chat. Slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Hey everybody, it's Maz for Big Boy Summer Fest. That's Strawberry Fest right now. It'll be summer coming up on Wednesday. That's right. So get down to Big Boy right now and get that strawberry pancakes to start your day off, or the red waffle, the red velvet waffle. And if you're not feeling breakfast, try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or the refreshing summer splash salad. Don't you leave without dessert. How about the berry delicious strawberry pie, the deep fried vanilla Oreo, or the strawberry hot fudge cake, or you can just go there and order a Big Boy, just like Lukey and, of course, this guy right here, Ryan Ermanni
like
does. They love Big Boy.
Oh, yeah, we do like that hot fudge sundae. Guys, just quickly, running out of time, we can pick this up tomorrow, too, but Colorado head football coach, NFL Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Deion Sanders. He's been out there a lot lately, like talk about him potentially losing his foot. He's out there doing the circuit. One of the things he said was, here's a quote. He told Sports Illustrated via Pro Football Talk, this is where I'm getting this from, "I don't have any desire or ambition to coach in the NFL. I have a problem with men getting their checks and not doing their jobs. I would be too tough as a coach in the NFL because I still have those old school attributes. I'm not an assistant coach. That is not me. I'm a head coach." What do you think of Deion Sanders kind of ripping on? I take that as ripping on, the new players, and I do that too. Like, I rip on the younger generation of workers, right? You know what I mean? Like we all do that, don't we?
Yes.
Didn't your dad rip on you? Don't you rip on your kids? I rip on my kids. It's just
We also talked about, I remember when we first started this job, you were telling one of the young people here at Woodward Sports, you was like, man, when I first got into the business, it was anything I would do just to be around, just to get some notes, just to be able to sit
I would have paid them to give me an opportunity.
That's a real thing. And what Deion says, he's 100% right. That's how he feels. That's what it is. He's one of the greatest players to play any sport ever. He's arguably the greatest athlete of all time if you just want to go for what he was in the two-sport Hall of Fame. I mean, a two-sport athlete all-star. arguably, for him to say that, that's what he believes. If a stud like that can say it, I'll believe it. I remember people keep asking me, why don't you coach when I first retired? I said, the personalities of these younger players now, the entitlement of the younger players anymore. I don't want to go up there and coach somebody's kid and is going to tell me what he thinks. Meanwhile, I know what I saw every day of my life on the NFL field, on the college field. I've been to slap one of these kids, and I don't want to get in trouble. So what Deion is saying is a real thing. Look, I don't want to coach in the NFL because I don't want guys to not be doing what they're supposed to be doing for the money that they're making. That's going to lead to some altercations, or that's going to lead to some me telling you about yourself, you're not liking it. Now there's a front with your number 1 overall drafted quarterback who's missing meetings and film sessions. Deion's like, I don't want to go through that. Right. And I damn sure don't want to go through that as an assistant coach. If I don't want to go through as a head coach, I'll stay in college where I can control the guys to a certain extent because the NIL is still real.
Hey, the greatest hitter in baseball was Ted Williams. He tried to manage back in the early 70s.
Over Barry Bonds?
Oh, yeah. Ted Williams is the greatest pure hitter.
I read his book, by the way.
Pure hits.
I read his book.
Anyway, he tried to manage and actually managed the Washington Senators. Actually got him to almost a winning season. And they were horrible. They never won. He had to quit after 1 or 2 seasons because he just could not take it anymore. He could not try to teach guys to be what he was, how he took the game, how he looked at the game.
Wayne Gretzky, same way.
You just can't do it. It's almost impossible to duplicate what a superstar once
Michael
did.
Jordan, neither.
Yes.
Now I wouldn't call Michael Jordan's tenure in Washington a failure. Dude bought the team in 2010 for $180 million. He has sold it for $1.7 billion. Dude doesn't fail.
Shout out to the businessman.
Right.
100%. But when you see, when you've been great at a level or even good, you see it that way. That's how you see it. So trying to tell someone how to do it, and then when they don't get it, it's frustrating.
I
when
was such a good player at Grosse Pointe South, Braylon. I could never coach there.
Never came off the field.
Ever.
Hey, that takes me to my.
Never lost.
I want to play this. I want to play this soundbite for you, Bill Belichick.
Can we do this tomorrow?
You want to?
Yeah, I'd like
Sure.
to do that tomorrow because I'd like to give it the proper.
Absolutely.
Just talking about working for free and more. Maybe we can kind of go back to this topic and kind of lump what Deion said with what Bill Belichick said, because he talked about earlier in his career working for free and what that did to get him in the gate. The best coach, or at least the most successful coach in the history of the NFL, worked for free to get his foot in the door. If Ted Marchibroda didn't give him an opportunity to work for free, would Bill Belichick have ever happened?
Right.
You know what I mean?
A lot of these coaches have gone through that. That's how they start.
Yeah.
Hey, that's how you start in this media business. You work for peanuts, and for most of the time, and you got to be a yes man for everybody. You got to be a gopher, and that's how you do it. You don't say no. You do it with a smile on your face. And you move up if you're good enough.
We all have those stories.
We
I'll
do.
tell you.
Sure do.
And they're like, pardon the pun, but they're war scars now, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're part of what gets you there. But
I walked 3 miles to high school, up a hill during the snow.
Through snow.
Sure.
Now you get a dusting on the ground. No, now they tell you it's going to snow.
And you're
1
off.
inch and you're off. It
You're
don't
off.
even have to snow anymore. Braylon, get us out of here.
That is true. Netflix, I'm telling you, Black Mirror is back on Netflix. The episode I will describe is called 1979 Demon. Basically what it is a lady working at a department store for shoes, Passettes, I do believe, eats her lunch downstairs in the basement. She finds a talisman in the desk. She touches the talisman, and then a demon comes to her in her house.
Oh, the demon.
And the demon comes to her in the house, changes its form to something that wasn't scared of living, you know what, out of her. And she has to kill 3 people in 3 days, or the apocalypse will happen. I'm telling you, it's good. It's good. It's an hour and 12 minutes. It is really good. Because it puts you in a situation where you're like, what would I do if I was in that situation? It's no running from the situation. It's a real demon. So what would you do if you were in this situation? Tune in to find out. We'll see you guys tomorrow. For JB Parker, Maz on the couch, Ryan and Ermanni to the left, we are Ermanni and Edwards with Maz.
See ya.